people have different agenda in their life, So some people go on the spiritual path just because it is a trend. Some people goes because let me try it, just out of curiosity. So they will go on the spiritual path. But you see, when you go on the spiritual path as a trend or curiosity, nothing have awake inside of you. You don't have any feeling inside of you. So you will go there, you will just say, oh yes, let me go. It's like going to a shopping mall. You go and see everything around, but there is nothing that can really satisfy you. So people very often, because it is so fancy nowadays to be on a spiritual path, to sit there a little bit and meditate, or to do some yoga posture, put your leg in the air and thinking that you are getting enlightened, No, people like these kind of words, they love to hear beautiful words and things that is pleasing to them. So that's why many people, they go on the spiritual path, not knowing how it is, the spiritual path. Here I'm not talking about the pseudo-spirituality which you see in the outside, because there is all kind of spiritual path. Nowadays when you type on your computer spirituality, spiritual path, whatever, you have a variety of things, which is very often people look for easy things. They look for, okay, spirituality must be something, I can't find the word, very trendy, it have to be very easy, if I want to feel God, I should feel it straight away, and you see the people sitting there, I'm feeling energy, I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that, which is all just here in the mind, because this is not real spirituality. People are looking for just some delusional experience, and just to feel good with themselves, that they can go around and say, yes, I have felt this or I have felt that, So this is not really spirituality, because this kind of spirituality, people goes like shopping, they hop from one place to the other looking for this sensation, So when they look for sensation, of course, the market of sensation, the market of Maya is full of sensation. It will give you all kind of sensation. From left to right, there's full of it. Then you walk from one stall to the other, but not knowing truly what are you searching. Like that, many people go on the spiritual path. So they go out of curiosity and trend. For them, they will not last very long on that path, because they need to move. They need to, constantly searching for this sensation that they have inside of them. It's like some people, you see, they are addicted to love. That feeling of love I'm talking about. It's not. It's not true love. It's a, how to call it? It's a sensation which people long for it. It's like a drug, And once they have it, they move on to the next one. They have one partner, they move on to the next one. It's a sensation of, yes, I need that sensation to move on, So drugs is the same thing. So people have replaced drug by spirituality. So when they replace what they are looking for, that sensation that they're looking for, into the outside world, of course, then it will not last for long. It will last maybe 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 6 years. And then on the 6 years, what happened? You will drop off. You will go away, because there is no sincerity inside of you. Because you were looking only for sensation, and people go on spiritual path very often looking for this sensation. You see, when we look, true spirituality is the deepness of spirituality when you go deep in rediscovering yourself. Here I'm not talking of the self which you just sit there and sit for meditation. Then after that you say, yes, I have felt myself. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about diving deeper inside oneself, Go beyond this delusion which your mind have created, and rediscover firstly who truly you are. That true love, which is unknown to your mind, unlocking something which has been locked since long time. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 13, Bhagavan Krishna said, deluded by the free mode of Maya, this world doesn't know me as being immutable and eternal. It's so true, because you see, people are deluded by this free mode, which is goodness, passion, and ignorance. Sattvic, Rajasic, and Tamasic. So being into this free mode of Maya, they see only this reality. They dance into that reality. They play into that reality. Even the search for spirituality into this reality. They don't go deeper into diving beyond this free mode of Maya. So they are, like he said himself, Bhagavan Krishna said, that being deluded, they doesn't know. Firstly, they don't know, but they themselves is eternal. They don't recognize that eternity of the self, the Atma, which is beyond limitation. The Atma, which is eternal, can't long for something which is material, can't hold for something which is material. The Atma, which is eternal, long for something which is eternal. How can you long for something eternal when you don't know but you yourself are eternal? Yes, we say our soul is eternal. Everybody knows that the soul can't die and all these things. But to be in touch with your true self, that's what is true spirituality. Get to know truly who you are, transcending this free mode which Bhagavan have said. In chapter 14, chapter 7, verse 14, he said, there's one way only that one have to do that. Verily, he said, that this free mode of Maya is very difficult to cross over. I'm sure Arjun have asked him a question, how is it possible that we can cross over that? He said, it's very difficult. Truly, it is very difficult. But those who take refuge in me, those who surrender to me, that become easy. It is like, you see, you go to a doctor, for example. Okay, imagine you have a certain illness, you go to a doctor, and the doctor said to you, this illness can't be cured. There is no remedy for that illness. And then he prescribe you some medicine and give you. Would you trust this medicine? No, you would not trust this medicine. So that's the same. Krishna said, look, at the beginning of it, he said, verily, truly, to cross over this mode of Maya, which is my Maya, you see, it's very difficult. So you're shocked, it's like going to the doctor and saying, there's no remedy to it. But he said, those who surrender to me, he said, okay, it's fine. Difficult to cross over, but not impossible to cross over. So in chapter 13, he said, it's very difficult, because people are deluded. But let's see, Maya, what it is really. Maya is not bad. She's doing her job because she's surrender. she's doing what the Supreme Lord himself have ordered her to do, which means to delude the mind of people, until they are truly surrender, until that mind has transformed. You are still in that mode of Maya. You see, when something bad happened to you, you're excited, you get angry, you become so wild. And people which is in the world, but the life just goes on like miserable, not, if it is good, it's good. If it's not good, there's no aim in one life. And those people which is happy, but yet pretend to be happy, So these free modes, Bhagavan said, no, you have to cross over that. If you want to really to attain me, you have to cross over. Because if you hold upon these free things, you will never be able to. So Bhagavan said, no. Now you have to surrender. So that Supreme Doctor said, okay, fine. I'm using harsh word to tell you strongly that it is impossible. But this is what people are scared, you see, in spirituality. When they go in true spirituality, they're scared of the challenges. But Maya works everywhere. Tell me one place where Maya doesn't work. You see, we are in this material reality. Maya works in all fields. So, coming to that point, you see, when the doctor tells you in a very strong way, no, it is, this, what you have is terrible. But he said, there is one thing. There is one thing to transcend this. It is only when you befriend me, you get to know, you have trust in me, I can help you. It is not impossible, you see. This mode, this delusion which I have cast upon, it is under my governance, under my control. And when I see that you are ready, I will ask, go away. Don't attack my devotee, no. But this happens only when there is this sincereness in what we are doing, that true longing for him, this yearning for him. It can't be just superficial, It can't be just, okay, let me try this and try that, a little this and little that. No, it have to have this single pointed mindedness, into it. Then it is possible to transcend. So it's the same. You see, people go on the spiritual path, but yet when they are tested, because you see, we like it to be just the way we want, easy, tell us beautiful things, which flowery words, which is beautiful for my ears to hear. But when the tests come, then one run away. Because nobody wants to really go into that test. But in reality, what is that test? You see, it is not to make you weak. Actually, it is a test to make you strong, to know where you stand. And those which is sincerely longing for the truth, for the reality, longing for God, truly, not just superficially, they stand strong in their belief and their faith. Nothing can move them into their faith. Earlier we were talking about Guru Gobind Singh. His father was captured by the Muslim, at that time India was ruled by Muslim, and they were killing so many people. His father was captured by the Aurangzeb, actually. He was a tyranny, Many have converted to Islam because of that, but he stood strongly into his faith, But they beheaded him, Imagine to stand upon your faith like that. How many martyrs have done? They have not let go of their faith. And that is true spirituality. Spirituality is not just another word to make you think that it is, after religion there is spirituality. No, it's true, after religion is very set mindset things. But spirituality is a transcending of who you truly are, your true identity. And you stand upon that belief and faith of who you are. Nothing can move you. No matter how many tests come, you're clear about your aim and your path. So coming back to your question, if ever somebody come back, it's true, many people, for whatever reason, the mind get deluded often for what they hear, what they see, whatever. And of course, when they start to reflect upon and see why truly this have been like that, is that teaching me something or not? Am I growing into that or not? So the fault is not about the spiritual path that you take, it's about also you, how you perceive it, what spirituality have given you truly, have given you to transcend this mind and to surrender to one supreme reality. Yeah. So, and that is also one thing that very often when people lack knowledge about true spirituality, true path, they go into delusion, of course, and they will go around. When they realize it, when they think that they are ready, then they'll come back. And this is also in the control of the free mode, which Bhagavan Krishna have said, is Maya. You see, because if somebody is not ready, but yet deep inside of them reside that grace which through many lives they have received, they have longed for. Because you see, inside the Atma knows, what is the reality. And the Atma longs for that reality. Through lives you have been longing for that reality. For whatever reason, it has bring you on the spiritual path, no matter which path I'm talking about, it's spiritual path, just to bring you a certain awareness which is beyond a certain dogmas or limitation. So that means that you have certain things inside of you which is sincere. That's what makes you search for your path. So you will go sometimes you will go from one thing to the other, looking around, shopping around, but yet, actually what you're looking for that sincerity within yourself and sincerity about your path itself. So sometimes it happens for some people, but they go around, and for years after that they come back again. So whether it will be the same or not, well, you see, when you have left after so many years, there is a big gap also to catch. Of course, it will never be the same. But nonetheless, at least you have realized that this is your path, and you have come back. So this happened also in the spiritual path. But as I said earlier, the most important thing is that you know truly, once your spiritual path have revealed itself, and once your master have revealed itself to you, forget everything else. Drop everything. Look only toward that. Get to know only this. Like that, you will be single-pointedness, and then you will be more strong, because more you are into this, more clear you are, more power will be inside of you. More strength will be awakening inside of you. But more you are in doubt, more you are in, not sure, of course you will be weak. So surround yourself, if you see that you know that this is your path, but yet weakness sometimes arises, surround your path with devotees, which have, elevated devotees who have really gone through these things and have transcended their mind and really can help you. If not, then read the life of saints, what they go through, Understand what true spirituality is, not this fantasy which people go around talking about spirituality, But spirituality is something which is deep, Especially we are from on the Vaishnava path, and of course, the Kriya path from Mahavtar Babaji. Mahavtar Babaji don't take things, I say, superficially. He's very strict. Even on our path, being Vaishnava, you have to be strict into that, So strict doesn't mean you become fanatic, but know that you belong to this path, you belong to this tradition, and this is you, And you have to honor it, you have to embrace it. Like that you can also share it with others. More you become strong, more you beam that light, more you can help other people also on their path to find their way also in life. Whether it is the same way or not, But as I said always, you see, if you have tasted something which is wonderful, you will love to share it. But you have to know that not everybody like the same kind of food, They are not ready to eat what you love. You have to take time, So like that, you have to be on a spiritual path which is strong. And you have to be clear with yourself that this is my path, this is my way. That is who I am. It doesn't matter what people think about you. Stand strong upon your belief, your faith.